Now, as I have got myself admitted to a hospital, the actual workflow begins. To visualize that, I will have a doctor. I will integrate the doctor to Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College. Then I will visualize the entire workflow. So let's go and have ourselves a doctor. So this is the doctor's login page. So I will be signing up here. So doctor is, let's say this. Every doctor has a BMDC number in our country. So that BMDC number is unique and it can uniquely identify a doctor. So let's just put it. And the doctor's date of birth, let's put it carefully. Okay. Now address, let's just give an address and let's give an email and put a gender and keep the password simple for now. And we can add or don't add a profile picture. Let's just see what happens if we don't add a profile picture. We'll have a default picture. So if we sign up, we'll have a prompt that our sign up was successful as doctor and my generated doctor ID is this. I copy this in my clipboard and I return to my login page. Now I will log in as doctor. So I paste my ID and my password and log in. So this is my hospital's doctor's login page. So I'm watching, it is welcoming me in the nav bar. So I can also edit my information. So let's do that. So let's not write this. Let's make me a doctor and let's just change the image and give my image and save the changes. So if I save the changes, I can see the changes applied. So in the hospital tab, there are no assigned hospital because the current doctor is not giving service to any hospital. Now what I'm going to do, I want to get this doctor integrated in Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College. So I talked back about hospital authority. The authority will have this power to integrate a doctor in his hospital. So I'm giving his password and logging in the authority. So I'm currently watching every department is just empty. There is no doctor. So I'll be adding a doctor. And first input I will be needing is his doctor ID. So doctor ID will be found here. Doctor ID. I'm copying it and pasting here. So what is this doctor's specialty? So what is the specialty? That is what is his department. So let's just keep it simple, medicine for now. And his degrees, MBBS and FCPS. So when I submit this, my medicine department will have a new doctor, that is Dr. Sakib. So I can remove me as well, but let's not do it now. So when the authority figure logs out, the general figure backs up, and the doctor's list will have a new doctor, that is Dr. Sakib in the medicine department. So let's go back and we access our patient list again. So I'm watching me as a new patient. So the status can be changed. So what I am going to do now, I am first going to go to the doctor and the doctor's hospital tab. So now I am watching there is an entry in the doctor's hospital tab. The entry is what showing us that it is Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College. So when I am entering, so I am seeing this, there is no patient for me in Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College. So what I am now going to do, I am now going to come to the hospital site and change this patient's status. So what I'm going to do, I am going to change his status to visiting doctor. So when I change his status, I am going to choose a doctor. So this drop down gives me an option to choose Dr. Sakib because Dr. Sakib is now in Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College. So I'm choosing this and I'm submitting this. So I'm saying my status is changed, this color is also changed, and the doctor assigned is Dr. Sakib. On the same time, Dr. Sakib, when he clicks on Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College, he will see that under Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College, he has a patient whose name is Nazmus Saki. So that's how our whole system is closely interrelated. Okay, now what I'm going to do, so Dr. Sakib thinks he will enter the patient and he will see some general information of the patient, but not very personal classic informations. Like this patient has some very good informations like his user ID, his NID, but these informations won't be accessible to the doctor. But the doctor will see some general IDs, and this ID is actually the hospital. Now, the doctor can see his past diagnosis, which is currently empty, past medications, also empty, and test reports, all are empty. Now, let's say the doctor has said the patient that go and do me an X-ray. What will happen? The patient will come to hospital counter and say, okay, send me to the X-ray lab. So the hospital side will change the status, and it is changing the status to doing diagnostic. When diagnostic is going on, it can choose a lab. So we are clicking the drop down menu and we can select any of that here. So we are choosing X-ray and we are clicking submit. So the status is again changed doing diagnostic, but still the doctor assigned is Dr. Sakib, and Dr. Sakib can still access the patient under his patients tab in Sohrawardi Medical College. Now I will be watching the functionalities of a lab. So let's just go to the lab module, and the lab module will have three entries. First is the hospital ID, which I will get from hospital ID. I will just copy, and I think you may have noticed that the current doctors is upgraded to 1 and current patient was 1 when I got myself admitted. So I'll be pasting the hospital ID, and I have to get my lab ID. Where can I get that? So the authority will provide lab ID. So when I log in as authoritative figure and go to the laboratory, I can see each lab ID is given here. So when I was signing up, I gave these instruments for my lab instruments, and each of these instruments has created a lab ID. So I will just copy this lab ID and paste it here, and I can enter my password and I can log in. When I log in, I can see the lab site here. It is Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College lab, and I can see beautiful logo of Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College. Lab is X-ray lab, and its ID is this. And we can add machinery in this lab. So let's just do it. Add machinery. So what is the name of the machine? So it's just an X-ray, right? X-ray. So the company's name is, let's say, Helicon, and model number 2X610. And what is the date this X-ray machine was integrated in this hospital? So let's put a decent date for an X-ray machine. Okay, and I can choose a photo. So in the downloads, I think I have an X-ray machine photo. Okay, so I have given the photo, X-ray machine name, model name, and integration date. So I can add the machine. As I can see, the machine is added, and I can see all necessary informations here: the machine name, the company name, the model name, and the incorporation date. Okay, so that's one thing. And whenever I appointed a patient in this lab, that Shohid Sohrawardi Medical College has appointed Nazmus Sakib to do diagnostic in X-ray lab. So the X-ray lab will see on patient tab this patient ID. So now the lab has got this patient from hospital. So the hospital is assigning this patient to this lab, and the lab can now update the lab report. So I can just update the lab report now. So let's update a report. Let's now update something. So it's a confirmation, because this information is very important, because this lab information, based on this lab test, many decisions will be taken. So confirmation tab is necessary. So let me first cancel it. So I'm selecting that file again. So this time I'm confirming it. So the report is successfully added. So when this report is added, we can see substantial amount of changes in our system. At first, from the user, you can access this test report. So you can see this test report is updated in your account. So you can view that report. This is just a random PDF file. So yes, you can view this report. And not only this user, but also the doctor can see his report because this patient is still visiting this doctor. So if the doctor goes and he clicks test report, then he can access this report as well. So the doctor is perpetually connected to his patient because wherever or whenever the doctor wants to access this test report, he can see this test report and take some decisions. Not only this, but also in the hospital context, the patient's status has been changed. It has been changed to diagnosis done. It was previously going to diagnosis. So now the diagnosis being done, I can change its status to visiting doctor again. So again, I can put this. So he's visiting the doctor and he's still in here and the doctor can access his test reports. So that's how the lab is closely connected to the hospital and doctor. Whenever the lab updates any test report, it is being accessed firstly by the user and the doctor he is assigned. Now, I am going to the use cases or the applications of the doctor. So, at first, the doctor can see the past diagnosis, past medication, and test report, and he can always add treatment based on that. So, let's say these are some compulsory fields. Let's say I'm putting it in Dhaka. Contact number is, let's say, something, and occupation is, let's say, student, and marital status, it's not quite important. And I can have many fields here I've integrated, and I've integrated these fields by consulting with some doctors, and these fields are to be filled up properly. But the functionality here is you can fill in some fields and you can go back, come after some time and see your changes. So let's now write here complaints is headache and comma, I have written nothing, and let's write the saline feature as diabetes and confirmatory diagnosis as diabetes as well. And treatment, I can treat him with, let's say, insulin. So I just submit it, and when I press submission, it means it's just a temporary decision. The patient is not yet discharged. When I click discharged, that means the patient is quite well. He has got free from his illness and now he's free to leave the hospital. So patient is not still fine. So I will just press submit and I will come back from here. And when I go to this patient again and I see his treatment, I can see my changes that I had done before, right? Like this headache I wrote before, and I wrote diabetes here. I'm pretty sure it is still here. Yes, diabetes here. Confirmatory diagnosis was diabetes as well, and the treatment was insulin. So now I think I'm going to make some changes. When I think that I can make some additional change, let's say I am putting his history of treatment. I'm saying he has history of stroke, and I'm reading this and I'm adding something more in his treatment tab. So let's say I have put insulin in addition to paracetamol. So with insulin, I'm giving paracetamol and I'm submitting again. Yet the patient is not discharged. Submitting again. So I can come back after some time. Again, I can see I can see the changes made. So that's how a dynamic flow is maintained. The patient is in perpetual touch of the doctor. The doctor can easily edit these changes, and the patient is being treated very finely. And that's how we can change the quality of our healthcare system. So from for now, still the status is visiting doctor. So we can change this status to many things like admitted. When the patient is admitted to a hospital, we can change this as well. And this lab task is pretty simple like that.